Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome back to Just Women Talking Shit. I am Jacqueline Cotton, and today we are talking about protecting your peace during the holidays. We all know that the holidays can bring joy, and that's what they're supposed to do, but they also bring stress. From in-laws who push boundaries, co-parenting drama, or feeling pressure to drink at a family gathering, to backhanded compliments or navigating uncomfortable social gatherings. We're going to unpack the real strategies to stay sane and stay you. So if you're ready to protect your mental health, set boundaries, and enjoy this holiday season without burnout, this episode is for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Just Women Talking Shit with your host, Jacqueline Cotton.
Okay, so the first step really is identifying your personal stress triggers. I know, that word trigger can even trigger you, right? For example, in-laws who push boundaries, maybe they comment on your parenting choices or try to control how you host. My favorite is the backhanded compliments that come with in-laws. Anybody relate? Co-parenting drama. I remember when my daughter's dad was still alive, God rest his soul. We always had co-parenting drama. It felt like this unspoken competition almost, like, I'm gonna treat her better, I'm gonna make her love me more. It was really stupid and childish, to be honest. Like, we would always find something but then pretend like nothing was going on. Very childish. And again, God rest his soul. I wish I would have been the bigger person in so many situations, but to be frank, I was a total bitch. So we're talking about like scheduling conflicts, gift exchanges, or last minute changes that totally throw you off. That was one that really triggered me a lot, was last minute changes, right? He didn't respect my time, I felt like, and sometimes I didn't respect his. Another thing that happens is, like feeling uncomfortable in social settings. So for instance, like going to a party where you don't know anyone very well, or where people gossip. I can attest to this uncomfortable feeling. Now, back in the day, before people really started, spending time with me and realizing that Jacqueline's usually right 9 times out of 10 about situations, about people's vibes, about first impressions, right? Well, I had it in my mind that my husband's family does not like me, that I'm probably the talk at the table when we're not there. And it turns out it's pretty freaking true. I've heard so many different things, so many silly things that they don't like me for. And this past year actually gave them a reason not to like me. So it is what it is. But I always felt uncomfortable before I even gave them a reason not to like me. I always felt this icky energy. I did not feel like I was part of the fam. And this has happened in several other situations where like there's just weird energy. Maybe it's from a guy. Maybe it's from just that gossip queen. But this is how you're going to handle it. So just keep listening to the episode. So if you feel uncomfortable in social settings, like going somewhere where you don't know anybody very well, or they gossip a lot and you want to protect your energy, just know that you're not alone. A lot of us feel this way, but I don't think a lot of us talk about it. Backhanded compliments. Aren't those fun? They're so fun. Like when someone says, wow, you actually look good in that. That type of backhanded compliment, right? I cannot fucking stand backhanded compliments. Like, just be quiet. Just keep your mouth shut. I'd rather you look at me like I'm stupid than to say something and make me feel even shittier about myself. Another big one is physical boundaries. So like someone wanting to hug your kids and your kids are not comfortable with that. We're going to discuss that as well. Pressure to drink alcohol, even when you don't want to. This is a big one, especially around here. I feel like it has become such a norm and such a customary like way to socialize that it makes you feel uncomfortable if you're not drinking. People like ask a lot of questions and make you feel like an outcast. So let's talk about it. What you can do, like before any of this even happens, is you can recognize what the triggers are and then grab a notebook, right? Write down all the things that stress you out during the holidays. Seeing it on paper, I swear, helps you separate what you can control from what you can't. And if you are anxious at all like me, then you probably already know that a big thing about anxiety is just feeling like you are out of control, meaning that you don't have control, meaning that somebody else controls the scenarios, and that makes you feel uncomfortable because being anxious is like just worrying about the future without even being able to know what you're really worrying about. So instead you worry about everything, all the possibilities of what could happen, right? So let's start with setting boundaries early. Boundaries, seriously, in the holiday seasons are going to be your best friend. Like, you don't have to say yes to everything, and you can do it without feeling guilty too. So like telling your in-laws ahead of time. This is where it really comes in. Ahead of time, setting them early, but telling your in-laws like, we're keeping the schedule pretty light this year. We won't be able to attend every event. Because I think it is super, super, super freaking expected that somehow you appear everywhere that day. There's a lot of pressure. And from my experience, like, families will sit and talk about, oh, so-and-so is late. So-and-so this. So-and-so went to her husband's instead of coming to see our family. Well, you can't be everywhere. And I think that it's pretty freaking silly and selfish to expect somebody to spend their whole day running all over the place to check off the list and make everybody happy. So just tell them ahead of time, we're keeping the schedule light this year, so we probably won't be able to join in on every event. I think that you should go ahead and explain to your friends, like, I don't want to drink at parties, but I'd love to come over for dinner. Like, I don't want to feel the pressure of drinking. So as long as there's no pressure and, people aren't going to look at me weird and like I have a third fucking eye, I'd love to come. But if it's like it's a house or it's a party where that's kind of what everybody does is they drink and they gossip and it could turn into drama, it could turn into shit, let them know ahead of time. Like, I'm trying not to drink, or I don't want to drink at this year's party, so I'll come for dinner. Communicating whenever it comes to being a co-parent is super important. And you'll hear me reference to my co-parenting relationship before he passed away. We were just not good at communicating. We still said words to kind of get back at the other person. It was a very weird control thing. But communicating to the co-parent, like, here's what works for our kids this year, and let's stick to the schedule. Because that is something that I've come across in my past experience, but then friends who co-parent, like, they have agreements. It's in divorce papers. It's in the agreement, who is with who on, even years, and then it switches for odd years, stuff like that. But then it comes time for the holidays, and one of the parties is like, they try to kind of change the papers and make it swing in their favor, because maybe the other person doesn't remember. Or so I think it's super, super important whenever it comes to co-parenting, to really just communicate ahead of time and stick to what you say instead of letting the other party make you feel bad or like they deserve more time, or no pity party. Like, this is what we're going to do this year. Let's stick to the schedule. I respect your time and you respect mine. Now, for backhanded compliments, it's best to practice a neutral response, in my opinion. And that's like, thanks, I appreciate it. But I'm going to go a step further and say, so are you saying, and this is just me, I'm not trying to start shit, but I've got a way of being able to communicate with people like, thanks, I appreciate that. So did you not expect for it to look good on me? Or maybe you can figure out another way to say that. But I kind of like to turn it on them like, thanks, I appreciate that. So did you think it wasn't going to look good? Or did you think this wasn't my style? Or I kind of like to have them respond why they complimented me in that way. Because maybe they're not aware. I think they're aware. The people that come to mind, I know they're fucking aware. It's their way of getting under my skin, right? But maybe they don't know. And maybe they can give you some insight. And maybe you guys will have a good conversation out of it. But if you want to keep it very neutral, I would just say, thanks, I appreciate it. And then I'd probably walk away. Not trying to be petty, but like I'd be like, okay, energy field, not letting you into my aura. Some actionable steps would be to decide your non-negotiables, to prepare polite but firm responses, and to use technology to reduce your stress. So like when you schedule breaks, or the co-parenting thing, having that schedule ahead of time and making sure that both of you are fully aware of the schedule, or like adding the other person to the calendar, to the Google Calendar. Another way would be to mute your notifications. Like I've got my phone set up to where like 8 p.m. it just goes, I'm like gone to the world. We are in do not disturb mode. And if you text me most days, it's probably still on do not disturb. But that's again because like when we mute notifications, we're less distracted. We can focus on what's in front of us, spend more time with our kids, spend more time with our partner, like really be present. So maybe utilizing some, muting of notifications this year would also help you reduce stress and really just protect your peace during the holidays. But another thing that I really strongly recommend is just being able to step away when you need it. So when you feel yourself getting frustrated, if you feel yourself getting triggered, if you feel yourself getting mad, or like you might cry, or just, I don't know what's going on at these holiday gatherings for you guys, but like I've been in some situations where I just feel sad. I'm like, I really don't want to be here, or I feel triggered and I want to say something. Or there have been instances where we're all drinking and stuff is said and we can't take it back. And I'm crying in the back seat of a fucking Honda because somebody said something that just I can't handle, or I'm not ready to hear, or I don't understand their logic. And I just want to be accepted. And so I'm left crying my eyes out, and alcohol definitely does not help that, right? So just being able to step away when needed and saying, you know what? Jacqueline said, protect my peace. That's what I'm doing this holiday season. And I'm just going to step away, because usually when you step away, it gives yourself the opportunity to really think things through. Don't say something you're going to regret. And obviously, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but we don't condone violence. Let's not like be ratchet and shit and like throwing fists this holiday season, which is all the more reason to just take a deep breath and step the fuck away, because I think it's really important to remember that protecting your peace is not selfish. It is absolutely essential. And I think it's important we don't make fools out of ourselves. Like we could set boundaries and be respectful, but it doesn't have to get to that point. You cannot, and I repeat, cannot pour from an empty cup, okay? So self-care, which I know some of us are familiar with, some of us keep putting it off, but self-care during the holiday season doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be intentional. Like it just needs to happen. So maybe like after a long dinner, you take 15 minutes to just go outside and breathe, okay? Go outside, get a few good, fresh breaths of air into your lungs. Maybe pop in some, earbuds and listen to some good music. I don't know what you need to do. I wouldn't say just, like don't sit and scroll on your phone or anything like that. But going outside and taking a deep breath and kind of grounding your nervous system again, that in itself is an act of self-care. So when I say it doesn't need to be fancy, I truly freaking mean that. If you're at a gathering and it's draining, Maybe your reward to yourself is the next day to schedule a solo coffee date, or to go, buy yourself some flowers, or to have a date with yourself, going for a walk. That in itself is self-care. So again, it doesn't take a lot, and it gives you something to look forward to if you're one of those people that have a really hard time, sharing your energy. I feel fucking drained after a 2-hour social event. Like, okay, I want to lock myself away now for 72 hours where only my kids or husband can be near me. If you're one of those people, it really does help you mentally, and it kind of gives you something to look forward to if you have something to look forward to. So if I'm going to my in-laws and I know that it's super freaking draining, I don't enjoy being there, but I want to be there for my husband, I want to show up for my kids, then okay, that means that, in a day or two, like I'm taking myself out to do something, because I feel like that would cheer me up and that would keep me looking forward to these events. So just another idea. You could journal. You could journal your feelings after an uncomfortable interaction with someone. When they cross the boundary, instead of just going smooth the fuck off on them, which sometimes it has its place, not gonna lie. Sometimes people just really cross boundaries, and you have to stand up for yourself and say, no, you won't disrespect me that way. No, just fucking bottom line, no. But you also really need to have the emotional intelligence to be able to know when to just journal your feelings. Okay, when they cross the boundary, journal your feelings. I'm not saying internalize it. I'm saying getting it out in a healthier way. Another, form of self-care could just be saying no to social media scrolling when you feel comparison creeping in. So I know that sometimes when I go to events, sometimes when I go out, I compare myself, like my outfit, my nails. Am I keeping up with my appearance good enough? Are they talking about me? Or, people are talking about, especially during the holiday seasons, all these great things they're doing, all these great things they're buying, or all these great gifts they've received, or all these great trips they're going on. And it can be really, really easy to start comparing your life to someone else's. Like me, for instance, my husband and I have 5 kids between the two of us. He is the breadwinner. He makes some more money out of the two of us. And I can real quickly chalk myself up to be worthless, and like I be ashamed of the fact that my career is just getting started and I'm not contributing enough, and we're not getting to go on all these trips. And it's real easy to do it. How do I know? Because I've done it. So just saying no to scrolling social media whenever you feel that comparison creeping in, and trying to anchor yourself into being present is in itself a form of self-care. Okay. So I mean, during the event, but also after the event. Don't go hopping on Facebook or Instagram to go look at everybody's profiles that you were just at the party with. Come on. We can find better ways to utilize our time and to improve our mental health. So some actionable steps whenever it comes to this would be blocking out downtime in your calendar. For instance, like I told you, my phone goes into do not disturb at it's 8 p.m. Having quiet time, making sure that, like, for instance, whenever I know that I'm busy for the day, I'll block off the whole day in my calendar and say it's a me day, and just really give myself the opportunity to hit reset for myself. Speaking of resetting, another actionable step would be to move your body to reset your energy. So I know that oftentimes one of the first things we want to do after we're feeling drained is to just go home and crawl in bed. But that isn't always the most helpful thing. So being able to move your body and get out, especially if you went to somebody's house where you're uncomfortable, they gossip about you, and it's just, you don't fit in. I know that maybe your first instinct is to go home and feel sorry for yourself, but if you were to move your body and get the aggression out, maybe through punching a punching bag or screaming into a pillow or dancing like a fucking mad woman, you might feel completely different about the situation. So that's something you can do. Move your body to reset your energy instead of letting them continue to siphon off of it, even when they're not here. You can use meditation, deep breathing techniques, or even journaling to decompress. So putting all that out there so that you have a few techniques to use, so that your mental health is top priority, front of mind, because your mental health should always come first, especially and even during the holidays. Next up, let's talk about managing expectations, because I feel like a lot of holiday stress comes from expectations. It's a combination of ours, but it's also everybody else's. A little example would be gifts. Like, you don't have to spend beyond your means. This drives me crazy. I'm going to give you a situation, and if they hear it, they fucking hear it. But we have family members who they expect us, again, we have 5 kids. We don't. I mean, we make ends meet, but we don't have all these savings, and 5 kids cost a lot. Let's just say that. But we have 5 kids ranging from age 4 to 16. And we have family that expects us to give all the kids. And when I say kids, I mean, these people are 23 and above. Okay. They have jobs. They probably are able to save more than we do because, we have a bunch of kids. And I'm not like, this goes back to the comparison thing, but it's just so silly because every year I ask my husband, are we giving money to everybody's kids this year? And it's kind of like, it's silly to me because I think the mindset behind us giving their grown children who have careers and limited expenses, we should give them money. And the logic behind it is that if they get our kids a gift, then we should get their kids a gift. But it's just that expectation, right? So I just want to put that out there. You don't have to spend beyond your means. I know that there's this pressure of, well, I've got to get them a gift. And then it may even boil down to like how much you're supposed to spend is an expectation. And if you don't spend enough, it means you don't care about that person enough, which I don't know. I don't feel that way. I don't even want people to get me gifts. I think it's like if you were to just like write me a song and make me feel special for a few minutes, that feels so much more personal to me than buying me like a little pedicure set or something. Like, I don't need, it's probably going to get, thrown on a shelf and not used for quite some time. So like expectations. Some other realistic examples be feeling like you have to attend every single party, even if it's draining you, even if schedules conflict and you are trying to make everybody happy. There's this expectation that if I don't go, they're going to think I don't care, or they're going to talk about me, and like nobody wants to be talked about. So it really is a thing. It's a thing that happens, and we don't have to do that. We just don't have to do that. We're all adults here, and I think we should be able to spend our holidays the way we fucking want to. Another expectation is hosting the perfect holiday meal when a simple gathering really would suffice. I see it every year. We have entirely too much fucking food. There is always somebody stressed out that they're not doing enough, they're not making enough, we don't have enough sides. This doesn't, like, it's got to be this lavish big feast, and the reality is that we're going to throw so much food away. And really what matters at the end of the day is spending time with each other. That's one thing that bothers me. And we're just going to get off on a quick little tangent right now because this fucking bothers me. It bothers me that there's this expectation to go to people's houses and pretend like we all care about each other this 1 or 2 days a year, but nobody's making an attempt all the other days of the year to spend time with each other. So can we make it less about the gifts, less about the food, and more about the fucking family? I'm speaking from my own personal experience. Like, some of y'all I don't see but these 2 days a year. And I think it's really silly to pretend like if we don't get to make it to your event, to your house, and we spend it, maybe at my family's house this year instead of somebody else's family's, what about all the other days of the year that you could hang out with us? So there is a silly expectation to be able to be everywhere at once, when the reality is, are they spending time with you outside the holidays? And if not, okay. That says enough in itself to me, to be able to remove the pressure of trying to go to every party, trying to host this perfect gathering, give gifts that you necessarily don't have the money for, or just to give them because you're worried that the other people are going to be mad at you, when the reality is that, like, the economy fucking sucks. Everything's really expensive. I saw a tiny building block set at the dollar store the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I think I might pick this up for the boys. No, I'm not. It's $30. It is easily a $10 set, and it's going for $30. That is insane to me. So the expectations are kind of bullshit, and I'm just here to say I'm on your side, and I'm advocating for you, okay? And then the expectations of, kids, like, whenever we're eating, or just let the kids be kids, okay? Just let them be kids. Even if they spill something, even if they cry or they don't behave perfectly, let them be fucking kids. There's this expectation to have the perfect family photo. I think it's so funny when it's not perfect. So we're just going to leave this one where it is, but we're going to manage our expectations with this. Like, let them be kids. It doesn't matter if they're dressed perfectly. Like, we don't all have to have matching sweaters, right? And they don't have to behave perfectly. So maybe just start with there. That's how we're going to manage some expectations, okay? Actionable steps that I have for you would be to, like, redefine what a successful holiday even looks like for you. Communicate clearly with your family and friends about what matters to you. I tell my husband, like, I don't need to be at everybody's house this year, because what really matters is getting to hang out with our kids. I don't care if both of our families are mad at us because we don't go to holiday dinners, because I kind of just want to hang out with my kids and you. Right? So what does a successful holiday even look like for you? What feels good for you without everybody's expectations? And then just, accepting that imperfect moments, they're part of the season. When we run around like chickens with our heads cut off and we get so upset that the tree doesn't look perfect or the turkey didn't come out perfect, like, how can we just stop and laugh about this right now? How can we stop and laugh and make this a memory? Because when you manage your expectations, you really do free yourself from unnecessary stress. And that's what we're talking about in this episode, right? Is keeping your peace during the holidays and minimizing your stress. Now, finally, I'd like to talk about rituals that protect your peace, okay? I'm talking like these small ones, small intentional actions that help you stay grounded. So that you don't spiral, so that you don't go into a depressive state, so that you don't curse somebody out by accident. So some examples of rituals would be like morning gratitude or journaling or meditation to start the day to where you're feeling good, you're feeling centered. Could be starting the day with a fun playlist, starting the day with a dance party. There are so many little things that you could do to start your day off on the right foot. Could be choosing just one enjoyable activity per day that isn't an obligation. So maybe going for a walk, maybe having a call with a friend, maybe reading a book, but just something that you look forward to. Because the holidays, we've already established they can be stressful. Lots of things are out of your control. So this goes back to the things you can control. And if you're picking intentionally something that makes you happy, something that you enjoy, then if you do something that brings you joy every day, those days that, things spiral. Maybe it's Thanksgiving, maybe it's Christmas, maybe it's the traveling back and forth from house to house, and the kids won't be quiet, and the car rides just suck balls. And it's just like, it's going to help your nervous system in the moments of stress because you have been giving yourself these moments of peace. Evening wind down time, like having an actual routine, bath, tea, music, something just for you. It goes back to like having that thing that you look forward to. And then for physical boundaries, it's really just about explaining to relatives, like, we love your hugs, but the kids aren't comfortable right now. Some of our kids have sensory issues, or they're just not comfortable being touched, right? Like, hugs can be very intimate. And what are we teaching our kids when we say, oh, hug so-and-so, even though you don't want to? That's teaching them that their physical boundaries don't matter and that people can touch their body even if they say no, right? So just explain, tell them from the perspective of a child, like, we love your hugs, but the kids just, they're not comfortable with that right now. And tell them it's not necessarily them. It's just, we're teaching them how to be comfortable in their own body and how to also be able to respect their own boundaries. Building rituals that bring joy and not stress are going to help you in the moments of stress. Sticking to your boundaries, even when others push back, is going to make you trust yourself more. It's going to, create this respect within your nervous system that maybe others aren't giving you, so that you can build confidence upon that, so that you can show up in situations and speak your truth. Hold your ground, and protecting like those small moments, the small moments where typically you would just people please. Those really add up whenever it comes to your peace meter, if that makes sense. So, as a recap, number 1, it is important that you identify your stressors. Number 2, it is important that you set your boundaries early. Number 3, you prioritize self-care. Number 4, you manage expectations. Number 5, you create peaceful rituals for yourself that are not dependent upon others. The holidays don't have to drain you this year. They can be joyous. They can be a time where, you are recharging, reconnecting, not only with others, but with yourself, because you now have these five things that you can do for yourself to prioritize your own peace. Whereas normally you would just get lost in the hustle and bustle, the shopping, the cooking, the traveling, all the things. I'm not saying people won't get upset by your decisions, by your decision to, tell them like this bothers me, by setting the boundaries, by prioritizing yourself, by managing some expectations, right? By keeping the peace, someone will be upset by that, I'm sure. But that's another part of it is being okay with standing up for yourself and maintaining and protecting your own peace whenever others clearly don't know how to do the same. So you might get some pushback, but that's okay, because at the end of the day, I think that it's really important to be able to take care of yourself first so that you can take care of those that you love around you. And that's all I have today. I hope that this lands in your lap at the perfect time. I hope that you're not stressing after you listen to this episode about the gifts, about all the, overly eager expectations that I think a lot of people have, especially when you are married or you have a partner. Like, that's when things start to get a little bit messy, because then you've got the in-laws, and you've got just more families to make happy, and people get their feelings hurt if you don't spend time with them, and you spend it somewhere else. So you might get pushback, and that's okay, is what I'm telling you because I think that it's really important for you to protect your peace and to do it unapologetically because you really do. You deserve it. So if you found this episode valuable or somebody came to mind and you're like, oh my gosh, she gets so stressed out every year, I think that this would help her, make sure that you send this episode to somebody or that you go ahead and hit follow so that you don't miss the next episode coming out. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you go and leave a review on Apple Podcast. Take a screenshot of this and tag us in your stories. You can tag Jacqueline Cotton, or you can tag Just Women Talking Shit, or you can tag both, and we'll share it on both our stories. But if you enjoyed it, if you found it valuable, let me know, let the world know, let your friends know, because it's just a little Southern woman with a sailor mouth who gets talked about a lot, who talks shit in her neighborhood. It's just little old me, a mom of a blended family of 7 with 2 pups. I'm the only person doing this. I record all the episodes on my own. I edit them on my own. I publish them. I manage it. I fund it myself so far. So anything that you can do to help out, whether that's leave a review, send it to a friend, subscribe, tag us, whatever you can do. Or on Spotify, you can leave stars. If you want to give us all the stars, then every little bit helps. And I'd just be so grateful. Like that would be a good gift for me this season, is if you could hit follow or do something. All the things that I mentioned, my brain's starting to go. I think I need some more coffee. But all in all, I say all that just to let you know that I appreciate you, and those who do share this podcast, thank you so much. But if you haven't thought about doing that yet, it's just kind of a little reminder that your one little action can do a whole lot for this podcast, for this little mom who has a big dream to take this on the road one day. And that this is the season. This is a season of giving and joy, and that I hope you have the best one ever. But if you want to send a little love my way, I'd appreciate that. We do now have the option to what is it called? To support the show, and it starts at just $3 a month. So if you want to throw a little change my way, our way, so that we can, make this bigger and better, get new equipment to record. Right now, I just, for the most part, record on my phone, mics, better sound equipment, being able to travel and meet people in person, host events, stuff like that. Any monetary gifts that you want to send our way. We are so grateful. I always say we, but there is no we. It's just me. I joke about how I'm going to manifest this big Mel Robbins team one day. And so I continue to say we. But one day it'll catch on. One day people will know the name Just Women Talking Shit and know about this mission that I have to really help women through real conversations on mental health, through real conversations on, womanhood, and just all of the things that I think that women experience in this journey of personal evolution. One day they'll know. And you heard it here first. So anywho, I love you all. Don't forget to come back at the end of this week. The beginning of next week. So interviews are published on Mondays or Tuesdays, and then the solo episodes are posted on Fridays. But don't forget to come back next week for an amazing interview. And until then, you've got over 100 episodes to listen to if you're brand new to this world. So go back and listen to some of those. And that's all. I love you. Oh, we got a new puppy, but we'll save that for another day. Bye.